Alright guys, Darren from Honest Money and welcome back to another video. So in this week's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 business mistakes. Now these are mistakes I've made, but also see many other people make with their business. So I wanted to share them with you guys to try and help you not make the same mistakes I did and so that you can learn from the experiences that I went through. So these are my top 10 business mistakes. And up first, we have asking too many people and often the wrong people for their opinion. So when someone comes up with a new business idea or they discover a business model that appeals to them, the first thing they usually do is speak to the people around them, kind of seeking assurance that this business model is a good idea. So they'll ask their friends or families what they think. Now that feedback can sometimes be useful, but very often the feedback isn't useful and is very unlikely to have any impact on the chances of success of that business. Instead, what I want you guys to do, instead of asking all of your friends and family, I want you just to ask 2 or 3 people who really know what they are doing. So if you want to start a new business, you want to be asking people that are aware of how business works and have their own businesses. There's no point asking your friends or family who may be employees, who have no idea about starting a business, what they think. You want to be asking the people that have actually been there and done that. So think about the people that you know, or maybe you could find out or get connections to through friends of friends that will actually be able to help you. You'd rather ask a few people that really know what they're talking about than lots of people that don't. Ideally, if you can find someone who's actually working in the sector that you're thinking about going into, that would be super beneficial as well. Up next, we have trying to do everything yourself, and this is something that I am still guilty of, but a lot less so than I was with my web design business. So with my web design business, I'll do the marketing, I'm going to go out and do the face-to-face sales and actually build the websites. I'll do the post sales. I'd even do things like the accounts, the VAT returns, corporation tax. I'd process all of that. And as much as I like doing it for my business, actually looking back now, it was completely the wrong thing to do. I should have been outsourcing all of those elements so I could focus on the most important things to my business, so I could grow my business rather than wasting time doing payroll or doing a VAT return. I could actually focus on growing my business. For number 3, we have undervaluing your service or product just to win business. You see this a lot with startups. They come into the market with a low price just to secure that business. You never want to try and win business based on price alone. You should be confident in the value of what you're offering, whether it's a product or service. Stick with your price. Maybe you'll have a bit of wiggle room to sign a contract, but you really don't want to undervalue your business. Don't come in at a stupid cheap rate just to sign up a client that you probably don't want anyway. Stick to your price. If I think back to my early web design days when my hourly rate I think was £20 an hour, which is super cheap, especially in the UK for web design work. Yes, I used to get lots of work, but basically I was a busy fool. So by the time I come to kind of the end of my business, I was charging kind of upwards of £50 per hour, still landing the same amount of work. But because I was confident in the price, I was confident in what I was offering, people were happy to pay that. There's also that perceived value. People often think if they pay a bit more, they're going to get better quality. And yes, they did get better quality, but just keep that in mind. It's not always about being the cheapest, it's about being perceived to offer the best value. And the more confident you are in your price of your product or service, the more likely you are to convince someone to pay that for it. Up next, we have taken on the wrong type of business. Not all business is good. So that's one thing I want you to always repeat to yourself. Not all business, not all opportunities are good. Sometimes there'll be a really big client that you have to turn down because that is the right thing to do for your business. I've taken on large clients in the past which seemed great, kind of a great idea and provided lots of money for the business. However, they completely drained all of our resources and we ended up with not a very diverse income stream. We become dependent on maybe 1 or 2 businesses. So you never want to do that. Also, sometimes you'll get a client who is super needy and is contacting you all day long. And that again is a drain on the resources. So not all clients are good clients. And if you've got a client like that, don't be afraid of sacking the client. Sometimes it is not worth keeping the client if they are more damaging to your business than the money that they actually generate for you. Number 5 is not being realistic about what certain business ideas require to succeed. Now, quite often people will come up with these great new ideas, but really have no idea how much it costs or the resources needed to actually get it to market. If I think back to my web design days, I always remember someone coming to me with a £1,500 budget wanting to launch a competitor to Facebook. Now, never mind the fact development costs would have been massively above that. I asked them about how they were going to market it and stuff like that, and they had absolutely no idea. So be realistic about, if you've got a business idea, be realistic about how you're actually going to bring that to market. How much money do you need? What approach you're going to take? What resources do you need? Because sometimes great ideas you just have to let go because they're just not viable for our individual circumstances and the resources that we have access to. Number 6 is wasting too much time or money picking a company name, logo, branding, and stuff like that. And I've seen this with many businesses. They'll spend weeks or months trying to pick a company name, designing a logo, and everything like that. And actually, it doesn't have a huge impact on the chances of success of that business. Now, of course, this will vary massively dependent on the type of business you're setting up. For some businesses, the design of the logo and the branding are going to be much more important. However, very rarely will it actually impact your business, providing it is at a certain level of good. It's very hard to tell you what that level is, but providing your name or your branding isn't of detriment to your business, then it shouldn't cause you any issues. You can always come back to them in the future if you really want to kind of do them up to the highest level. But to start with, just get it to a level that you're happy with, that won't cause detriment to your business, and then focus on the things that really will impact your business, such as your sales, the product and the service that you're actually offering. Number 7 is employing people without a long-term strategy, and I'm guilty of this. We employed someone to complete a project for us, hoping to keep them long-term, but we never actually had a strategy for when that project was complete. So we had like a 6-month project, and then we didn't really think past that. So when the project came to completion and we had no more work lined up for that employee, we had to let them go. So think about that when you're thinking about expanding your business. Do you actually need to employ someone, or maybe you'll be better off with a freelancer or a contractor for a short period to complete whatever it is you need them to work on? But definitely don't employ someone without a long-term strategy. Otherwise, you'll make the mistake I did and have to let them go, which is not a nice thing to have to do. Number 8 is not picking up the phone, and this sounds like a really simple thing, especially to be on this list, but it will make a big difference to your business. If I think back to when we started the web design business, myself and my partner at the time, neither of us were that confident on the phone. So most of our communication with clients and marketing was done via email. I remember kind of contacting Office Space saying, is there any office space available? And this was all done via email, and you'd wait days for replies. The same with opening up a bank account and everything like that. Whereas just picking up the phone, you can get an instant answer. You can make things proceed a lot quicker, and that applies to all aspects of business. So never be afraid to pick up the phone, as it can save you hours or days or weeks of time than you would if you go down kind of sticking with email route, just because it's a bit more comfortable than picking up the phone to speak to a stranger. Number 9 is not diversifying your income. There are so many businesses that rely on a single income stream or a single type of income stream, and as has been proven this year, literally anything can happen that can completely destroy your business. I'm sure there are many businesses this year that have had really strong previous years with kind of an individual single income stream. However, lockdown has completely destroyed their business. So you need to diversify either within your single business to make sure you've got multiple streams coming from multiple sources, or have additional businesses bringing income streams in from elsewhere, but never become reliant on a single source of income. Which kind of follows on to the final point, which is focusing on one-off business instead of repeat revenue streams. And again, this is something I was guilty of when I was focusing on just landing new clients instead of building repeat revenue streams. For my web business, if I'd spend more time focusing on the hosting, SEO, PPC, and all of the things that I could have sold on monthly retainers versus on landing new clients, I would probably build a much more stable income, money that would have been there before you even get out of bed each day. Work is waiting for you when you get to the office. So think about 1, diversifying your income, and 2, building repeat revenue streams. Now, before I wrap this video up, I do have a bonus mistake, and that for me was believing that success equals the amount of money that I made. Now, success will mean different things for different people, but for me, I measured the success of my businesses by how much money they made. However, when I look at my businesses now, success is not that. Success for my businesses now is providing enough money for the amount of hours that I want to work, which is not very many, which will allow me to live the lifestyle that I want to live. So success for me is being able to spend time with my family, my friends, and doing the things I want to do rather than be stuck in the office. And I see business as just kind of that river that leads to that. So don't get too hung up on the amount of money you make unless that is your actual goal. Think about clearly from the start what your goals are and what success means to you, and make sure you set your businesses up to hit success and not necessarily the amount of money you make. So I hope you guys have found those mistakes useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you take one moment to scroll down, hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos from me, subscribe to the channel. And if you've got any of your own business mistakes that you'd like to share, let us know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in next week's video.